Do you want to know what new NES games are worth looking forward to this year? In this video series, we're going to take a look at some of the most highly anticipated aftermarket games for the NES to release this year. These are the games that have caught our attention and have us counting down the days until their release. From strategy puzzle games to unforgiving 8-bit worlds, we'll be showcasing the very best of the NES Homebrew scene. These games may not have been developed by the big names in the industry, but they are no less deserving of your attention. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into 5 of our top picks from the NES Homebrew scene in 2023. And stick around to the end for a bonus game about a familiar franchise that might just blow your mind. So what's up first? Are you ready to embark on a journey to defeat an evil tyrant and reclaim a powerful ancient artifact? Black Jewel Reborn is an upcoming NES aftermarket game that combines elements of classic games like Roston, Castlevania, and Golden Axe to create a unique and thrilling gameplay experience. In the game, players take on the roles of Ryan and/or Julia, the strongest warriors in the kingdom, as they set out to stop the nefarious Dark Ore from using the Black Diamond to become its sole ruler. Along the way, they will battle hordes of monstrous creatures and discover new abilities to help them on their quest. So, one of the standout features of this game is the ability to play with a friend in simultaneous 2-player mode, adding an extra layer of excitement and teamwork to the gameplay. Black Jewel Reborn plays like a mix of Roston in the way that you're making your way through the levels with blunt force, Castlevania with its destructible objects that drop goods, and Golden Axe as far as that screen-clearing magic goes. I like these graphics. These are the kind of graphics that when you see them, they pop right off the screen. I can't tell you how many people asked about this game when I showed a 3-second clip of it in my previous NES Homebrew video. So I'm guessing you think the graphics look pretty cool too. Let us know in the comments. The sound here is pretty good, at least from what I've heard. The one track in the game that's available feels right. It adds to the action and yet fits that medieval vibe. So I have no worries in this department for the full game. The demo that's available is only the first level. However, the first level is packed with fun. It's a decent taste of the intense and satisfying gameplay that's to come in the full release. I said to come in the full release. Anyway. Personally, the first time I came across this game was a Kickstarter for a Sega Genesis version. That Kickstarter had a stretch goal, which if it hit, there would be an NES version, so you can guess that it made it. And as much as I enjoy the Sega Genesis, I'm way more excited for this NES version. Overall, this looks like an exciting addition to the NES library in the action-adventure genre. I know it's full of tropes, but at the same time, it's always been fun to take on the role of a barbarian and hack and slash your way through mystical enemies and dragons and such. Are you tired of the same old 8-bit games with no depth? The Trial of Kazoid is a game that combines elements of Arkanoid and Metroid. You play as a skull, using a paddle to navigate through different levels and defeat enemies. The story here is about a powerful wizard named Kazoid, who created a game filled with traps and foes. You take on the role of a skull, and must put an end to the madness by using a paddle to navigate through different boards, collecting power-ups, and defeating enemies. So as you can see, it looks like Kazoid's trial is going to be a real ball buster. The gameplay is fun and interesting. You start off with a magnet power-up, which helps you control the ball. As you progress through the game, you'll find power-ups that'll help you move forward. The graphics here are well done and fit the mood of the game. The skeletons, the demons, and crows, they all look great for an 8-bit NES game. The music here, from what I've heard so far, is exceptional. It's moody, and it incorporates samples of what sounds like a human voice to make it feel epic. I'm excited to hear the music beyond the tracks I've heard so far. Overall, I think this is a fun and unique game. I'm excited to see where the story goes and discover all the different power-ups. It's pretty much like a Metroid game as far as how you traverse the levels, but you have a skull as the main character. I haven't seen a concept like this before, and I think it's pretty cool. And I know I'm looking forward to seeing the potential of this game fulfilled in 2023. Are you a fan of classic games like Ninja Gaiden and Batman on the NES? Well, check this out. The Storied Sword is an action-packed adventure that takes you on a journey through a fantasy world filled with danger. The game, developed by RAF Labs Interactive and Bite the Chili Productions, is a spiritual successor to classic games like Ninja Gaiden and Batman on the NES. And personally, I've been following this game for a little while, as I had a chance to play it last year at the Midwest Gaming Classic. And man, has it seemed to come a long way since then. The concept is simple yet engaging. You play as either a male or female protagonist, each with their own unique way of swinging their sword. The gameplay is similar to games like Ninja Gaiden and Batman, where you cling to walls, attack enemies with your close-range weapons, and pick up power-ups to use for long-range attacks. You travel through several stages of a level until you reach a boss at the final stage. The first boss is seemingly based on Andre the Giant, and it's a fun Easter egg that sets the tone for the rest of the game, as the storied sword seems to be loosely based on the movie The Princess Bride.
Inconceivable!
Which is a fantastic source of inspiration. The graphics in the storied sword are pretty good. They might not be as polished as Ninja Gaiden or Batman, but they really stand on their own as their own unique thing with their own unique style. The visuals here are fun and colorful, and the animation is smooth. The game is pleasing to the eye. The sound in the storied sword is top-notch. The soundtrack is created by Raph Labs and is slammin'. The sound effects also work well. Swinging the sword feels like it has weight when it hits an enemy, and this coupled with the overall sound design adds to the immersion of the game. The difficulty here is not too hard or too easy, it seems to be just right. It's fun and challenging, so it's good for players of all skill levels. It's one of those games where if you get stuck, you still want to keep playing, because you know with little practice you'll get it. Overall, I'm excited for this one to come out. I think it'll be a fantastic addition to the NES library in the action platformer category. Hopefully we'll see this one finished in 2023. Are you ready for a new and unique gameplay experience where you can attack enemies using your own body? Blades of the Lotus offers a unique blend of gameplay elements from popular NES games like Metroid, Zelda 2, and Mega Man. The game features a top-down overworld similar to an RPG or Zelda 2, where players can explore caves, towns, and other areas. Once a player enters one of these entrances, the perspective shifts to a 2D side-scrolling action game like Mega Man or Super Mario Bros. One of the most interesting elements of this game is the player's ability to attack enemies using their own body. Instead of using a weapon, the player can dash using the B button into enemies, killing them, and throwing the player high into the air. This allows them to reach new platforms. You could almost have a slogan like, Blades of the Lotus, where the only weapon you need is your own body. Talk about taking the phrase body slam to a whole new level. However, it is worth noting that this feature is not in the ROM yet. For now, it's only head bouncing like Mario. As players explore the game world, they will gain new abilities that allow them to reach new and more challenging areas. These abilities allow for more dynamic and exploratory gameplay. I'm told these are placeholder graphics, but to me they showcase the developer's unique style, and I anticipate the final product will be visually appealing. As for the sound, there isn't much in the demo yet, but I have high hopes for the game's final soundtrack. Despite the fact that this is just a proof of concept demo, I can already see the potential for an exciting and unique gameplay experience. The ability to attack enemies using your own body and dashing into them is a particularly interesting feature that I can imagine leads to some really fun gameplay moments. Overall, Blades of the Lotus is a game to keep an eye on. Its unique blend of gameplay styles and interesting mechanics should make it stand out in the NES Homebrew scene. I know I can't wait to see where this goes in the future. How about you? What's the feathery deal with Piapow? Is it worth taking a peck at? In Piapow, players take on the role of a bird on a mission to rescue their stolen hatchlings. It's a strategy puzzle game in which the player must navigate through each screen, defeating enemies and collecting power-ups to progress. The graphics in Piapow are cute and whimsical, but don't be fooled. This game is 8-bit hard. The music and sound effects are well matched to the tone of the game, providing a fun and engaging experience. One of the standout features of Piapow is the randomized dungeons, which provide a new and challenging experience each time you play. The game's learning curve may take some time as players must adapt to the different strategies required for each level, as well as adapting to the randomizations, but the fun and satisfying gameplay make it worth the effort. Overall, Piapow offers a unique puzzle experience with cute and whimsical graphics and a fun and engaging soundtrack. The randomized dungeons provide a ton of replay value, making it a game worth checking out. Personally, I was surprised by the game because I'm not a big puzzle guy, but the challenges of figuring out how the game works and it not being overly difficult kept me coming back for more. This is one I hadn't heard anything about until the game dev reached out to me, so this game came out of left field and I'm really glad it did. Do you dare to face the Candyman in 8-bit form? Candyman Be My Victim, developed by Fista Games, is coming to the NES, and it's going to be a nightmare you won't forget. Lately, Fista Games is known for their classic horror games such as Friday the 13th and Halloween. Well, now here comes Candyman Be My Victim, which fits right in line with those titles. This game puts players in the role of Candyman, allowing them to play through an 8-bit graphical world that horror franchise is set in. And of course, in true Fista style, the music isn't chiptune rendition ripped straight from the theme of the movie. Personally, I think it'd be really cool if you took Candyman Be My Victim and paired it with Fista's other classic horror games for a complete retro horror gaming experience. Imagine playing Candyman Be My Victim on a multi-cart along with Friday the 13th, Halloween, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. It would be a horror lover's dream come true. Now, I know some of you may not be as familiar with the Candyman franchise as you are with the other classic horror franchises, but I wouldn't let that stop you from checking this game out. From what I can tell, it's going to offer a classic horror gaming experience that stays true to the Fista game's previous titles. In conclusion, it looks like Candyman Be My Victim is going to be a great addition to the Fista Games collection of classic horror games. If you're a fan of these classic horror games, don't miss out on this one. Keep an eye out for its release sometime in February of 2023. And that's a wrap on our first look at 5 of the top NES Homebrew games set to blow minds in 2023. We hope you enjoyed the sneak peek of these unique and exciting titles, and cannot wait for you to get your hands on them. Be sure to stay tuned for more episodes in this series as we continue to showcase the best of the NES Homebrew scene. And don't forget to leave a comment below with your favorite game from the list, and also let us know what you're most excited to try. And remember, just because these games are homebrew doesn't mean they're not homebrew-to-full. Alright, that was bad. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.